Let me start with good morning, Alana. Sally, start reading the text.
Water climates. Earth,
Where are the climates?
where the climates. Earth's atmosphere is a layer of gases that surround our planet, and climate is the usual condition of the atmosphere that
In a certain
in a certain area, the climate of a certain area can change a little from day to day, and climate is what the weather is usually.
Thank you, Sally. Jude, continue. The second paragraph, my dear.
There are quite a few different climates found in the world. Scientists have
Have identified
11 different climates on Earth. They are named either for the re- 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 re-
region of Earth.
region where they occur, or for
Yes.
the reason
Good morning.
Good morning.
the region of Earth are the areas near the North Pole and the South Pole. They have two
Miss, this is exam comprehension.
Yes, 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 Amir, yes.
climates called ice cap and tundra. The regions near
Tundra,
the
tundra.
the region the regions near the equator are warm and tropical. They have three separate climates known as
Ramadan Kareem.
and west and
Savannah.
savanna.
Grasslands. Ramadan Kareem for you too. We're gonna continue. Thank you, Ajud. Samir, can you continue? Samir Bisani.
Yes, wait a little bit.
The subtropicals.
What?
So here, yeah, Samir. The subtropical.
Miss?
Yes.
Subtropical.
Subtropical.
Wait. Subtropical regions are between the tropical regions. Move this arrow.
Okay, region.
Miss, I want to go to the toilet.
You can go, dear.
Regions.
You can go.
And the polar regions.
Polar regions. They have
Polar regions. They have 6 different climates. These are
cold, dry, summer, dry, winter, humid, marine. West,
Climates. They have 6 different climates. These are
I
called,
said them.
yes, these are called
Where? West Coast, Mediterranean,
yes, Mediterranean.
and wet way are the warmest climates
Okay, enough. Yes,
found.
Samir, thank you, Samir. I'm gonna go to Rena. Can you read
Yes.
why? Yes, yes, dear.
Can I go to the toilet?
Yes, yeah, Lisa, you can go. So why are the warmest climates?
Yes.
Continue, Rena. Why are the warmest?
Found near the equator. Earth is shaped like a sphere. The equator is the line that is equate the di,
The equator is the line that is equal distance from the North Pole
pole and the South
Pole, South Pole. The sun shines.
The sun shines directly on the equator when Earth is facing the equator.
Miss, when we do the exam, it was Tuesday 6.
Yeah,
Tuesday 6.
yeah. It was the last assessment, yes.
Those that Earth
Okay, Rena, I'm gonna continue the last. The sun shines directly on the equator when Earth is facing the equator. Those curved areas receive less direct sunlight. The poles at the top and the bottom of the Earth receive the least direct sunlight of all. The poles don't get enough warmth from the sun. That's why they have a layer of ice all year. So we'll watch a video now about that. I prepared for you a video about, I want you to see how climate changes according to the equator and this stuff. So let's watch this video. Just let me prepare it in a minute. So I'm gonna share this video. I want you to watch it carefully. So let's see.
Sorry.
This is a simple explanation of climate change based on an article in the New York Times. The average temperature on the surface of the planet has already increased 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880.
So as you can
I
see,
am not seeing the screen.
you're not seeing the screen. Wait, maybe your connection is weak. Okay, Lana. So as you can see that the Earth is spherical or sphere in shape.
I'm not seeing anything.
Which may not seem like
You're not seeing till now? Who is not seeing the screen?
Lana. Rod.
You cannot see it? Okay, I'm gonna share it one more time, ya Lana. What about the rest? Can you see it or not?
Miss, I can see it.
Okay.
can see it.
Okay, Lana,
I
maybe.
can.
Okay, maybe your connection is slow, ya Lana, but Ahmad, I will disable you because you're writing on the screen.
Okay, Miss, I see it.
Great, Yalana. So we'll watch this video about climate change, how it is changed. First of all, you should know that the Earth is not straight. It is spheric. It has a sphere shape. But good morning, ya Muhammad. Hi, ya Muhammad. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss.
Yes.
I'm too late or no?
You're not that late. You're late around 5 minutes, ya Muhammad, but never mind. Muhammad, we are checking the assessment. Let's watch this video about how climate changes, and then we will continue. Okay, ya Muhammad?
This is a simple explanation of climate change based on an article in the New York Times. The average temperature on the surface of the planet has already increased 1.7 degrees Fahrenheit since 1880, which may not seem like much, but think about it this way. The heat from human emissions is roughly equal to 400,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs exploding across the planet every single day. Future generations are in big trouble, but for now, it'll gradually continue to get warmer and storms will grow more intense, with longer periods of drought in between. But longer term, if emissions continue to rise unchecked, the climate disasters will be so severe they will destabilize entire nations, send millions of refugees across borders, cause widespread extinction of most species on Earth, and melt the polar ice caps, leaving most of the world's coastal cities several feet underwater. All this could take centuries, but something like the sudden collapse of agriculture would trigger immediate chaos in society. Best case is we get our act together and begin to rapidly bring emission levels down. Meanwhile, Earth turns out to be less sensitive to greenhouse gases than we currently believe, plants and animals adapt quickly, and major technological breakthroughs help society limit emissions and adjust to climate change. But these are all the opposite of what we're actually seeing, so the only thing in our control is to limit emissions using all available tools and best behaviors currently at our disposal. Worst case, the collapse of food production causes spiraling prices, and as our capitalist utopia breaks down, billions starve as our world gets violent and messy real quick, kind of like a zombie apocalypse, but with extreme hunger spreading chaos instead, so yeah, still just like a zombie apocalypse. This would be coupled with the melting of the Antarctic ice sheet, leading to rapidly rising seas that would force us to abandon many of our greatest cities and all of the social and scientific progress that we were making within them. Adding insult to injury is the fact that many of the emissions were emitted while building these now abandoned underwater metropolises. If emissions continue unchecked, we're looking at a total rise of between 80 to 160 feet, which would occur if all the ice in the poles melted. So the oceans will rise. The real question is how fast. Scientists only have Earth's history to base their predictions on, which suggests that the rate has occasionally hit 1 foot per decade. So we'll have to adapt to an altered coastline sooner or later, but probably much sooner than later, because computer forecasts only give us a range of future possibilities. The most important evidence comes from the study of past climate conditions, which clearly show that every time the amount of carbon dioxide in the air rises, the earth warms up, ice melts, and the ocean rises. What you have to remember here is that we are in uncharted territory. Humans are pumping carbon dioxide into the air far faster than nature ever has before us. Scientists have been publishing strong evidence that warming is making drought and heat waves more frequent, causing heavier rainstorms and more severe coastal flooding. But while the internet has made us all more aware of weather disasters in distant countries, it's hard to prove these are all directly made worse by climate change. Canada and Russia both have vast frozen lands and could see some economic benefits from a warmer climate. Putin and the Russians, and until recently Canada as well, have been reluctant to make ambitious climate commitments, but expect that to change as these countries realize they will be swamped by millions of refugees from less fortunate nations. Libertarians and other political conservatives do not like the policies proposed to fight climate change, and have chosen to try and block them by actively undermining the science. This effort has been funded by the oil and coal industry, who favor making money above all else. As more resources are devoted to solving the problem, our chances at big technological breakthroughs are improving, but we still should be spending about 3 times as much money as we currently are on these efforts, according to several in-depth reports. You can reduce your carbon footprint by doing things like plugging leaks in your home insulation, installing a smart thermostat, taking public transit, taking less airplane trips, buying an electric car, and putting solar panels on your roof. A big one is eating less meat. But what's really needed is for you to speak up and exercise your rights as a citizen, because strong, collective action through state and national policies is how we'll make the most impact. Considering that we've been ignoring scientists' warnings since the 80s to limit emissions, we're pretty late in the game. But we've finally reached a moment where nearly every country in the world agrees this is a huge problem and seem ready to commit to taking at least some kind of action. Leading corporations will continue to make bold promises to do their part, low-emission technologies will improve, and many states and cities will go much further than any goals set by their national governments. The United States, the world's biggest economy, is finally starting to move aggressively, and China, the world's largest emitter, is beginning to recognize that it needs to do the same, as many of its megacities will be underwater if the seas rise too high. But it's up to us, the ordinary citizens, to continue demanding our political leaders tackle climate change, the hardest problem that humanity has ever faced. So like and share this video to help it spread. A special thanks to Justin Gillis of the New York.
So you can see in this video how climate change. Let's see another one about the equator. Okay. So let's see this one according to the...
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help. This sentence is grammatically correct.
This is the world. That's you and that's me. The world has the perfect temperature to keep all living things alive and happy. This temperature depends on a balance. The sun's heat goes to Earth to make it warm. The sun's heat bounces back to space to make the Earth cool. When this balance is lost, the climate changes. The Earth's climate has changed many times before. This is called natural climate change. It's caused by volcanic eruptions, changes in the sun's energy, and changes in the Earth's orbit. Greenhouse gases also make the Earth warmer. They trap heat from the sun. Greenhouse gases are like a blanket covering the Earth. It started in the 1700s. Humans started to build more things. We burned coal to make electricity. We burn oil to make our cars and planes move. We use chemicals to make things. We cut down lots of trees. We burn gas to cook food. We dump lots of trash on landfills. We plant a lot more rice. All these things release greenhouse gases. Remember the blanket over the Earth? Because of humans, it got much, much thicker. When I get hot, I sweat. I even get dizzy. Imagine the Earth. Because it's hotter, glaciers and ice sheets are melting. Seas are rising, storms are getting stronger, some places are getting dry, even the sea is getting warmer. All living things are in big trouble. So what should we do? We need to change the way we live, so we can stop releasing so much greenhouse gases. That way, the Earth's blanket will go back to normal. We also need to be ready for what climate change will bring. In December, there will be a big meeting of nations. They'll meet in Paris to decide how each country can help. Their decision will decide the future of Earth, our home.
So I still want to show you the equator and the poles, and then like this we can start by the answers. Okay, so Jude, watch this video very well because
Monster Math presents Addition Below 10. Okay, class, let's...
It's time! Why is equator hot but poles are cold? Because equator likes hot burgers and poles like cold burgers. Nah. Firstly, around the equator, sun rays hit the ground at a 90-degree angle. Hence, more solar energy falls per unit area, thus making equator hot. However, near the poles, since sun rays hit the ground at a lower angle, the rays spread, causing less energy to fall per unit area, thus making poles cooler.
So, so as you know that the sphere is spherical, that's why the Earth has a sphere shape. In the middle, it's like hot burger. It's very hot. It's in the equator. While on the poles, it's very like cold burger. It's very cold.
Secondly, due to the Earth's axial tilt, poles don't receive sunlight for many months during the year, thus worsening the situation. Thirdly, as sunlight takes a long path to reach the poles, it has to deal with a greater number of atmospheric particles, which result in more absorption and scattering of sunlight. Thus, less sunlight reaches the poles. Lastly, snow at the poles reflects 75 to 95% of sunlight, which is much more as compared to that reflected by the land around the equator. Topic: human tongue. Why does our tongue stick to a frozen pole?
Maybe our tongue has a magnet in it.
No! Our tongue is always covered with saliva, which is about 99% water. During cold weather, heat from our warm blood is regularly supplied to our tongue, preventing the saliva from freezing. Now, a metal pole is a very good conductor of heat. That is, it conducts heat very easily.
Aw, it's so kind-hearted.
Oh, just listen. During cold weather, the metal pole becomes frozen and does not have heat in it. Hence, when we keep our warm tongue on the frozen pole, it draws heat from our tongue faster than the blood can replenish it. Due to lack of heat, the saliva freezes and forms ice, causing the tongue to stick to the frozen pole. Topic: taste buds. Why mint tastes cold?
Maybe because it is manufactured in Antarctica.
Not at all. Wait, I'll explain. Our tongue is actually a muscle which consists of many taste buds or receptors.
Are they similar to my earbuds?
Nah. When foods having flavors such as sweet, salty, sour, bitter, or umami come in contact with these taste receptors and activate them, they send signals to the brain, telling us their taste. However,
So we're gonna stop here. As you can see that you need to know only the equator is where it's hot. On the poles, it's because it receives less sunlight. It's very cold. Let's go to the first question very quickly. I will ask Muhammad Al-Hajjar, read question number 1. So I'm gonna write, what is the genre of the text and how did you know, ya Muhammad? What did you say? Is it expository fiction or what? What is the genre of the text, ya Muhammad? Muhammad Hajjar. Yes?
When we did the exam,
There were, yeah, you should. I put you the answers. You have to choose one of them. So we wrote like this, expository.
Miss Hasna,
Yes.
Miss, this is question 1.
Yes. Yes, dear. Muhammad Al-Hajjar, can you answer? Muhammad.
Can I say the answer?
Okay, Samir.
Okay. Where?
Miss Hasna, why you write like this?
I'm writing them for like the assessment part because they were erased.
May I write them expository? Miss, this is it.
Okay, so let
Can
me.
show you it?
Okay, let Samir answer. Samir, what did you write?
Electricity.
It's okay, yeah.
See, this.
Which question?
Number 1 يا سمير.
Miss, I write this.
What is the genre of the text? How did you know?
Miss Husna,
Yes,
I
Samir.
write this. I write this. You don't write like me.
Samir, I received it from you.
Miss,
I got you did.
page that I wrote on it.
Okay, it's okay. So let's go to Samir Bisani and listen, ya Samir Al-Haj. We are doing number 1. What's the genre of the text, ya Samir? What's the genre of the text? Is it?
But I don't correct the exam. No.
Muhammad, no need to write the answers again. No need to write the answers again. Later, look for the page where you wrote it. So it's Samir, is it expository fiction or expository non-fiction?
Miss, I look for the page that I wrote in it.
Yeah, look for it. If you found it now, that's great. If you didn't find it, it's okay.
I don't on my copybook. I don't have like you wrote them.
What did you write, ya Samir, on the copybook for number 1?
Loves.
Miss,
Okay, Samir Al-Haj, can you read what you wrote?
Miss,
I write this.
not non-fiction. Non-fiction.
Miss, I write expository and this one does besides that and
Okay, non-fiction. So I'm gonna circle them.
expository non-fiction.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So it's real story. It's a real one. I think I flipped them before. I flipped them. It's real, and it has facts. Why? Because it has facts about the topic, right? That's what we need to say. So I will repeat again. This story is expository non-fiction. It means it's real story.
Yes, I write it correct.
100% correct, yes, Amir. So it's expository non-fiction, it's real story. And why? Because it has facts and information about the topic. It gives you information about climate.
Miss, I tell you is the.
You're right.
non-fiction.
You're right, yes, Samir. But you took time to answer me. That's why I chose Samir Al-Haj again. So you told me you can't find the answer. So that's the first question. It's expository. It exposes. It tells you about the text, and it is. Sorry, here it's expository.
Miss, my exam
Okay.
is correct.
I checked half of it, yeah, Samir. I'm checking one by one.
I look how many pages? How many pages I sent for you?
What is the climate? What is the climate? I can't remember, Samir, now. What is climate? What is a climate? Who can answer it? Aya, what did you write for what is a climate? Aya, can you hear me? So I'm gonna write a climate, since Aya is not answering, is, so let's write.
Miss, I can say for you this question too.
Yes, Samir, you can say for.
The climate is the usual
condition
of the atmosphere in a certain
area.
Yes.
You're right, yeah. It's correct like this. It's correct. And you can say, other than that, a climate is usually the condition of atmosphere in a certain climate, or some of you will write a climate is what the weather is usually, or some of you might write a climate is what? So climate is what? The weather is usually like. The two are correct. The two answers are correct. One of them, any of these two is acceptable. Why is it the coldest in the polar regions? Who can answer this question? Why it's cold on the regions?
Miss, there's a little sunlight.
Great, ya Muhammad al-Hajjar, because they receive less sunlight. It is cold on the pole, on the two poles, because they receive, and you can see it in the text, less sunlight. So that's the answer. Number 4. Let me screenshot these for you so you can see them on eSchool. So question number 4. How does the shape of the Earth change the climate of different reasons?
Earth is shaped like a sphere.
Excellent, yeah, Samir. So the first thing we said that Earth is shaped like a sphere.
And
Miss Hasna,
The
Miss Hasna,
and
Yes.
why the
number 3, Miss, at number 3, I write like this.
What did you write?
It is
Yes.
the call. This I write it. See,
I will see it on eSchool, yes, Samir. I will see it on
Miss-
eSchool.
sphere, not a sphere than a point, not the end.
Earth is like a sphere. It's shaped like a sphere. It's shaped like a sphere. The equator. Yeah.
No,
And what?
and why?
Okay, why? Why, yes, Samir?
The weather changed
Okay.
because it's moving.
It spins. That's great, yes, Samir. Your answer is correct, dear. And you can also say the Earth is shaped like a sphere. The equator receives more light
Can I tell number 5?
than the poles.
Can I tell you number 5?
When it spins, yes, Amir, wait a minute.
Okay.
When Earth spins, Earth rotates.
Miss, you are fasting.
Yeah, for sure. The climate changes. You're fasting, yes, Amir?
Yes.
Great. Samir, can you answer the last question since you want to answer?
I prefer
Miss, I
time.
can be answer بثانية.
Okay, Samir.
I prefer Canada because it's near to the Equator.
Equator. Great. So you can say it's, if you want to answer this one, Mexico is warmer than Canada.
Samir, what do you want?
Canada, it's more warmer than Canada because it's near to the equator. It's nearer to the equator. So it's near to the equator. Like this, we finished the questions. Let's do this one very quickly because it doesn't need time. Muhammad Al-Haj, start with number 1. Which one is rainforest?
This I didn't know it in the exam.
Why? It's easy. Muhammad, which one is rainforest? Which picture?
Which is the rainforest?
Yeah.
Number them.
Picture. You want me to number them? So I will number them.
The fourth.
Let me write the letters A, B, C,
It's the rainforest. It is
D.
the H.
E. Wait, let me E. Let me F,
Rainforest. It is the H.
G, H. Yes, it's H. I.
2 minutes.
We still have 1 minute, less than a minute. I, J, and K. So I'm gonna screenshot this one very quickly so we can work it later. The numbers are 1, 2. Okay, so rainforest goes to letter what, ya Muhammad? H. That's number 1, goes to letter H. I'll put beside it H.
Two